Hey, thanks for joining me. Travis from the Knife Joker. Tonight coming at you with a new knife review. New model. Well, not brand new. It has been out for just a little while. This one being a TuyaKnife Kingsman. And coming in this hard case. You see, can't hear any rattling in there whatsoever, which that's nice. And with Tuya, you're never quite sure exactly which box you're gonna get. They've come out with a lot of different presentations, on their knives. So kind of maybe has progressed, but I think it also depends on possibly the price of the knife, on what packaging you're gonna get. So with this Kingsman being pretty much the flagship model of TuyaKnife now, you get this hard case, even no rattling. Let's check it out. I'll do this without shaking up the camera too much. I always shake the camera up a lot for whatever reason. Maybe get a better setup one day, but get that TuyaKnife cleaning cloth right there. This one coming with a KPL. I mean, they did change the packaging of these a little bit here and there, but this one coming with a little tester of KPL right there. Now that alone would last you quite a while. Get this Kingsman, and wow, there it is. That's what we're trying to look at. Finally got past the case and the pivot lube. Now, right into that Kingsman. As you can see, this Kingsman, well, as Kevin Fu, owner of TuyaKnife, was, telling me this being his pretty much the flagship model, and he was just shooting for the moon, trying to make everything just as good as he can. Well, I've looked at the handle quite a bit. Just kind of letting the knife show itself here. Just a different look than a lot of knives. I mean, there's all kinds of new knives coming out these days. That's true, but I don't know. I haven't really seen one like the Kingsman, so that's a good start. A little bit of uniqueness to this knife. Let's get the case out of the way. Maybe bring in some other knives. See how big is this knife that we're talking about here, this Kingsman, this flagship model. Try to get another look at it. This being titanium frame, titanium back spacer and clip. Does have that steel lock bar insert hiding down in behind the lock bar. You see that flipper tab. I'll flip this out. M390 blade. There's the steel marking on the blade. I mean, there's really a lot to see here. Never start in the exact right place, but we'll start right here in the lanyard hole. See that titanium back spacer. Marble carbon fiber scales, inlays. That titanium clip. You see that? Kind of giving it, not really a bolster knife, it's more of an inlay, but it does give you a little more of a overlay on the lock bar there, so when you do flip it open, you can be a little more relaxed. There's no pressure on the lock bar here, making it super easy to flip from multiple positions. Well, that's my left hand, so I always feel funny doing anything with my left hand. I don't know if you can see how smooth this knife is just by me handling it here. I'll get more into that. So yeah, this marble carbon fiber inlay, I don't know if they sanded it exactly perfect, but it's pretty darn well. I mean, especially on the edges. You can't hardly tell it's inlaid. So they came out with this dimpling pattern. Kind of looks like raindrops to me. Well, like a puddle dimpling effect. Definitely not round holes. Different depths, possibly. Different sizes. Really an intricate pattern. Also this milled line coming down right there. Just pretty complex. You see a little thumb area to get your thumb into. I think that lock bar, yeah, it does stick down just a little bit, so it makes it pretty easy to get your thumb in there, being it's a little opened up, and it also sticks down a little bit. So really easy to disengage that knife. And you can see there's no shaking, no jerking or anything to get this knife to close. Just basically, once you get past that detent ball, well, this one in particular just closes. Do they all? I'm not sure. So yeah, this writing on ceramic ball bearings. Kind of get a little look at the ball bearings. I mean, seems like some companies you can see down in there more than others. This TuyaKnife knife, you can see right down in there. So for better or worse, you can see the inner makings of it. Super smooth. As if I haven't flipped it possibly 30 times already in the 8 minutes that we've been up. See, there's some jimping on the back of the spine. Try to get a little closer if I can get it to focus. See also on the edge of the spine how it's been taken back. So it's not a sharp edge on the edge of this spine. They've taken the edge back. You see that jimping, not super sharp, just a little bit of nice jimping. It's again that dimpling effect. So this knife has a lot going on, and of course I started with the lanyard hole. Could have started with the blade. We're gonna end with this blade. Starting off with it's again working backwards. Starting off with this flipper tab. Just pretty interesting already. Like, don't see many flipper tabs with a hole, like a lightened flipper tab with a hole through it. Check out the blade. Have that fullering going on both sides of the blade symmetrically. Kind of like a layered fuller effect. And Kevin Fu was showing me also this hand rubbed M390 blade, how they hand rub that area, and I was telling him, I I don't remember seeing this layered fuller effect. You know, maybe it's been done before. Maybe other people are doing it now. I'm not sure, but it was pretty dramatic to me when he, just seeing pics of it for the first time or two, or I don't know if you feel the same way or not. But they also did a different, it's like a 3 or 4 tone blade, if I could get a shot of it. It's got that satin front grind. Of course, the edge grind, that doesn't count. But this hand rub section, this little satin flat section there. But I'm not sure what they did here, bead blast or acid wash, maybe. The steel right there in that layered fuller area. You see the maker's mark there on the blade as well. So, a lot going on in the TuyaKnife Kingsman, and very attractive. Even here on the back of the spine, you see this little area cut out here. Maybe wonder why it's cut out. So you flip that down. Not quite as much bite on your finger when your finger slams down from flipping this open. And your finger slams down for a good reason. It's a nice detent on this knife. I'm not trying to flip it too hard, but just using the detent, my finger's not on the lock bar. Just using the detent, I mean, it just flies open. So, little resistance, and your finger ends up right in this hole. Pretty well thought out knife. Also a lock over travel stop is what I'm trying to say. I went with black hardware on this. I think they were considering satin or black. Went with the black. So yeah, a lot of little colors with the marble carbon fiber, the black, the 2 or 3 or 4 tone blade. Just to get a side by side of some other knives, just point out, I guess I have a large size hand. I usually say that. There's my hand on the knife. My, first knuckle, second knuckle. If I really choke up into it and get past my third knuckle, might be a little tight right there. Can maybe do 3 fingers in there, 1 back here easily. That puts you right in the jimping area. No usable choil here. Just a few different ways to handle it. If you have a medium-sized hand, it's going to be a spectacular knife. Even with my large-sized hand, it's not uncomfortable. Just a little bit tighter right there, but the back, if you do put your 4th finger back here, which you do on a lot of knives, it's pretty comfortable. Definitely something to check out in person and see if you like it, especially if you had, like I said, a medium to large size hand. It would just be really cool knife. Let's just, we didn't even measure it out. Let's see how big is the knife really. What are we talking about? Usually do this with the measuring tape. So yeah, about 3.5 inch blade. Basically, just maybe a bit hair over 3.5 inches. The handle length, is about 8.5 inches. Get a measurement on the weight. This knife feeling pretty slim in all directions and feels really light when you pick it up. I don't know what this is gonna weigh, but with all those little extra millings, it all takes weight off. It's 3.8. I'm gonna guess. I'm always wrong. So 3.54 anyway on this one. So it's definitely not 3.8. It's even lighter than I thought. For a 3.5-inch knife, and it's gonna weigh 3.5 ounces. Pretty easy to remember once you think about it that way. Get a little possible side-by-side action of some other TuyaKnife knives. We just brought out some other ones that kind of seem similar to me. Another kind of long, slender thorax. TuyaKnife thorax. Little bigger. Definitely longer. Probably heavier. Argon. I don't know if this was one of their original flagship models. They're kind of, this knife's a little bigger. Then another new TuyaKnife Hive. Probably another bigger knife. So I don't know why all the TuyaKnifes I brought out are a hair bigger than this Kingsman. But yeah, the Kingsman is a little slimmer, especially the blade. Just a little bit slimmer than these other Tuyas that, for whatever reason, I decided to do a side-by-side with. And for some reason, I thought, well, we'll do a side-by-side with the Kapara. I don't know, it seemed like a thin, more slender blade and might make a good side-by-side comparison with the Kingsman. The Kapara, it's not, well, obviously not the same steel, it's not titanium, well, it's not the same knife, but another slender carry. Also kind of reminded me of maybe the Endura. Again, not sure exactly why, just especially this titanium Endura is it's a little thinner than like a FRN one, and it's long and lean, which obviously longer. So for whatever reason, I thought, well, I'll put these three side by side and see what they look like, which I hadn't previously done. But for whatever reason, they kind of remind me of each other. The one that really reminds me the most, I suppose, for the Kingsman could be the TuyaKnives K1. Really was one of their flagship models. It still is, just designed maybe a couple years ago. And this one in particular being the marble carbon fiber K1, the hand rubbed M390 blade. And well, here we are, marble carbon fiber, titanium flipper with a hand rubbed M390 blade. So I guess that one might make sense. You can see why these might remind me possibly of each other. And yeah, really thought probably this might be a good shot. Put the TuyaKnife K1 by the Kingsman those might remind me of a lot of more of each other. So yeah, the Kingsman, definitely a nice knife fitting in a lineup of a lot of others. You know, TuyaKnife keeps coming out with, new models, just pushing their fit and finish just a little bit more each time, I think. And it's fun to see. You know, I enjoy seeing the new models. Enjoy the nice fit and finish that Kevin and TuyaKnife are just trying to bring to the market, to the knife world, to the enthusiasts. Anyway, thanks for joining me. And if you do like what you see, hit the subscribe button. I'd like to see you again for the next video. And if you want to see more about these TuyaKnife Kingsman, you could see them at theknifejoker.com. Hey, we'll see you for the next video. Have a good night.